So the games today, it's like we're just going, and maybe Turtle dies, but we kill everyone else. So
definitely.
That's how we win.
That's a bonus. Kind of like using him as bait.
Yeah. We use him as bait a lot. He likes being bait, actually.
This is Zento from Esports Heaven, and I have here with me Curry from FlyQuest.
Hello.
Now, so you guys pretty much dismantled CLG, and it was in very convincing fashion. What do you think kind of was your strengths in that game?
I think one of our big strengths as a team right now is just our ability and decisiveness to engage and to fight. I think we're always ready as a team to fight, always ready to make plays when we see opportunity. So we were just really decisive. Here's where we're going to fight. Here's how we're going to do it. And every time those opportunities came up, we took it. Mm-hmm. And since we just had a really strong comp for team fighting, it just ended up in our favor.
So speaking about team identity, that was kind of a big criticism of FlyQuest last year, was that it just kind of felt like there was no identity, no specific strategy, that you could tie to FlyQuest as a team, right? Yeah. You had, first of all, Team Liquid, obviously, they're very bot-centric. You had even Clutch Gaming, they were all about the Rift Herald,
Yeah.
So this year, what can we expect from FlyQuest in terms of playstyle identity? And I say that loosely also, too, because I know it's the beginning of the split, beginning of the season. Not everyone's going to have a style that they necessarily want to do, nor reveal.
Yeah.
So, and also with that said, too, I know that patch to patch, you kind of have to adapt your identity as such. So just what are your thoughts on team identity, and especially in pertains to FlyQuest?
Yeah, so last year we struggled a lot with our team identity. I think it was pretty obvious. Our games just looked really sloppy. Either nothing was happening or we were just all over the place. And that was a big focus for us in the offseason, figuring out what kind of identity do we want to be as a team, what players should we target. And we just picked up players who we felt had really strong play styles themselves, because that was what we were lacking. We had good players like Santorin, Viper, WildTurtle. These guys are really good players.
Yeah.
They know their champs. They can play at high level, but they're not necessarily super. They don't have a really distinct play style. Mm-hmm. And that's not a bad thing, but we just needed someone to match with them. And so picking up Tristan, Power Evil, and Ingar was just the perfect fit. Those guys have really strong play styles. They played together before. They know how to play with each other. They know how to play the game. And as a team, we're still trying to integrate them, but it's gone really well so far. Those guys really know how to play with each other. They love playing with each other.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah, they really like it. As a team, the guys from last season, they've loved playing with Power Evil and Ingar. They've given us a whole new perspective on how to play the game, what kind of opportunities we can look for, what can we do. I'd say as a team, we're still trying to discover exactly who we are, but I think already compared to last year, we have a much better identity. And that's made practice easier, it's made draft easier. We know how we're going to play, and so we're just really confident right now.
So speaking a little bit about Power of Evil, your new mid laner, he's thought of as someone who has quite a wide champion pool with a lot of eccentric picks and eccentric play style.
Yeah.
And that can be a positive and a negative for a team, in the sense that you might have to play around that very eccentric play style. And I haven't really got any thoughts from a coach perspective how that necessarily affects a team's style or just play all around. So can you kind of go into that a little bit with at least the limited experience that you guys have had so far with Power of Evil? How has that kind of changed the way that you approach the game and also, of course, the draft?
Yeah, so like you said, Tristan, I'm not sure if I would describe it as eccentric. I think his play style is pretty standard to not pretty standard, but pretty similar to what a lot of European mids do. I think it's different from how some NA mids play the game. But from a European perspective, I think he's just really confident in side lanes, really confident in his champion pool. And that's given us just a lot of direction as a team. He really knows how to play his champs, whether that's side lane, playing through mid. He's just really confident. And so it helps us a lot because he just knows what to do. And then it's when you have a player like that, he knows what to do at all stages of the game. It just adds a whole new level to the team. for
yeah,
us.
that's really important to know what you want to do.
Yeah, and so whether he's playing some weird pick that people would consider weird, or he's playing the standard stuff, he knows how to play around it. The team understands how to play around it, and it just makes everyone's life like way easier.
So I remember doing an interview with WildTurtle's support last year, JJ.
Yeah.
Now, from WildTurtle, he has this very aggressive play style in a sense, and it is somewhat distinct. Now, when I interviewed JJ, he had said something along the lines of, WildTurtle is different to play with because he sees plays that normally a lot of other ADCs wouldn't see, and so therefore you have to be kind of quick on the draw in order to react to whatever he's going to do. And we kind of saw that a little bit in the CLG game where he split off at that dragon fight. So just talk to me a little bit about WildTurtle and maybe the mindset that you've seen in scrims and both this on-stage game.
Sure. So I've actually worked with Turtle before. We worked together on TSM in Season 7. So I've known him for a long time. He's like one of my favorite players to work with. We get along super well. I think you're pretty much it. Like, he just sees a lot of opportunities. And I think as a team, we've just really tried to understand that and work with him. He's been super confident about like the opportunities he sees. So getting him to like explain his thought process usually helps a bit. So everyone get on the same page. Sometimes he'll do something, whether it's in Sage on scrims, and it'll look kind of confusing. We'll be like, Turtle, why'd you do this? Like, or what were you thinking here? And he'll explain, and then his explanations usually make sense because he sees like a really good angle. It just takes time. And so that's one of the things with working with him. But Power of Evil, like all the guys working, like who worked with him before, we're used to it, so we know. And Ignar and Power of Evil got on super fast. They see the same angles as him. And Jason as a player, he's similar to Tristan, and he knows what he wants, and he talks about what he wants. So it really helps with the team. Like, they understand, hey, Turtle's gonna go up here, and he's gonna do something crazy. So everyone be ready. We're gonna do, we're gonna fight with him. We're not gonna leave him to die. We're all ready.
That sounds like a good thing, just to rally behind one guy, because he's gonna do some.
If you saw the games today, it's like we're just going, and maybe Turtle dies, but we kill everyone else. So
definitely.
That's how we win.
That's a bonus, kind of like using him as bait.
Yeah. We use him as bait a lot. He likes being bait, actually.
Okay, so now let's talk a little bit about the meta, because we've seen Akali permabanned, Aurelia permabanned, Lucian permabanned, Kiana. So all these picks, and it seems like there's this general theme that they're all also thought of as flex picks too. So is it just that these picks are very OP in terms of their power numbers and just their raw stats, or is it this flex pick status that we're still working with to this day, given that last year it was kind of the same thing where flex picks were very important?
Yeah, it's definitely a combination of both. Like, flex picks have to be powerful, but also, flexible in both roles. So usually when champions are permanent status, like Akali, for example, she's super OP in both roles, like, hard to deal with. For the other champs, like, they're not as permaban. Like, for example, Lucian was left up against us. We have answers. Actually, into all the other three champs, we actually have pretty good answers that we've played in scrims. Like, maybe I think they're kind of strong, but I think we're really flexible as a team. So we have a bunch of picks that we're ready to pick into them, and also confident in playing in them as well. So we're not as scared of those champs. But I mean, sometimes how the meta is like, there's something strong, and teams who adapt first are going to have a huge advantage, and I think we're pretty much already there.
All right, FlyQuest bringing the ruckus. I like it. So as far as the game state itself, it seems as though the game is kind of going in a faster pace. We see multiple Rift Heralds now being able to be spawned. There's the constant fights over dragons and whatnot. So what are your thoughts on the game speed itself right now in League of Legends?
The game is definitely sped up, and I think it's really good for the game. It's really good as for the viewership, but just as a coach too, there's just so much more happening. Everyone as a team has to be so much more on the same page for every opportunity, every moment. Every wave is really important. I think 2 or 3 years ago, the game was just super slow. The way people played the game, everyone's playing for these 35, 40-minute team fights. It's just kind of boring to review as a coach. It's and then what ends up happening is people make one mistake and you kind of just lose the game. And it just felt super bad. As you're going through this game, you have this game plan, and then someone makes a mistake and you lose, and you're like, well, shouldn't have made a mistake. But now it's just so much more fun to coach nowadays as back then, because now it's like, sure, we made a mistake here, but here's so many more opportunities to come into the game, or like, here, we could have done this instead. You see people come down all the time from like, really explosive team fights. So it's a lot more exciting because like the players are really a lot more involved, because they're like, oh, like you can do so many more creative things than you could, I feel like 2 or 3 years ago. And that gives like the players like a really good voice. So when players have a voice in review, you see like really cool games like where crazy things are happening. And it's really fun. I'm sure for viewers, but as a coach, it's really fun too, because we just get to explore so many different ways to play the game. And it really leads to like a unique identity and style. Yeah,
I'm actually enjoying watching the faster pace this year. It's really dope, actually. So as far as FlyQuest itself, I want to touch on a little bit of the team atmosphere, because when you look at player identities such as WildTurtle or maybe Santorin, you see like these really nice guys. It seems like they're never going to say anything negative, but in that essence also, you could be worried about how this team won't have any conflict and personality conflict. And that may be necessary for resolutions of how to play the game. So what are your thoughts on the team personalities and how they've meshed together, and kind of that light of maybe not being competitive? Is that the case, or what?
It's actually not the case at all. Like, for sure, those two, and actually everyone on the team is super nice. We get along super well. But also, everyone here is like professionals. We're veterans. We know what it takes to win. All those guys, they know what it takes to win. If you want to win, you have to be able to criticize your teammates, talk to them about problems, talk to them about issues. It's really the only way to get better as a team, right? Like, we all understand that. And whether it's, if someone messes up when they shouldn't have, or there's things they could be doing better, those things are said in practice. And I think that's been like, that's something that we as a coaching staff have really encouraged, is like, hey guys, we need to be open with each other right away, and the players are totally on board. And all the issues we've come up with, we're able to resolve together as a team. And that's why I feel like we looked so good this weekend, is because we just are really open and comfortable with each other. All right, well, I'm looking forward to more from FlyQuest. Thank you very much. This has been Azento from Esports Heaven and Curry from FlyQuest. Thank you. Thanks, guys.